Batman issue 21, Tom King writing, Jason Fabok on art. It doesn't mention him in the credits, I don't think, but Jeff Johns did help plot this crossover out. So.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that he wasn't in the credits, actually, because usually the plot still is.
Because he's like Manhattan himself. He's from the shadows. He's controlling things.
Isn't he? What if we get to the end and some Morrison-like twist where it's Jeff Johns? He's the one that's done all this, but it's out of love. He was very misguided.
Don't put IDs in his head.
I know.
Don't do it. Right. So
if Jeff Johns is listening, I got some ideas, bud. Go talk to me.
So this is the first part of the crossover. Very, very full of homages to Watchmen. The 9-panel layouts spread throughout. And the main gist of this, obviously some stuff at the start, but the main bulk of this issue is that Reverse Flash has showed up because he's, as we've seen from that last issue of The Flash, he's alive, he is here. He's pissed at Batman because he remembers Thomas Wayne killing him in Flashpoint, and he shows up. And just after Batman's noticed that the button reacts to Psycho Pirate's mask, he calls Barry and says, "Hey, things are happening, get over here." And he says, "I'll be there in a minute." So the majority of this issue is Batman trying to last a minute in a fight against Reverse Flash because he knows that Barry's on his way.
And Barry's never late.
Yeah, and this is the bit I love most about the 9-panel layout. It stops being just a homage and actually becomes a solid creative choice.
This countdown.
Because it really breaks down this countdown, and you see just how long each second is feeling for Bruce in this.
Well, and it sets it up with a hockey fight that's going on that for whatever reason Batman was watching hockey. Right?
Yeah, that was the one weird part, is that Batman was watching hockey.
You know, and there's a hockey fight that breaks out, which, you know, plays into the beginning, that our mystery character is also watching from Arkham.
Saturn Girl.
And is freaking out. Yeah, it's Saturn Girl. And, you know, she's freaking out because this is the start of, you know, if this stuff happens, bad thing will happen.
Yeah.
It will affect in the future.
She remembers that someone in this hockey game dies, and we don't see the end of it, but we see two hockey players fighting like really harshly, and it cuts away. I do want to point out though, there's another Watchmen homage at the start of the issue with this hockey match. There's you see like the circle in the middle of the ice rink, and then the hockey stick comes in, and it makes the clock hand.
Yep.
Just pointing that out.
Right. Very well done.
And Arkham's got like a smiley face in the wall. They're really all over the place. And
I like that though. The poster just says Arkham is for healing.
The other thing I really like is that in the fight, you know, occasionally it does those like during the actual like you know, the actual connecting parts of the hits, those panels. It goes into colours. The colours it goes into is yellow and black.
Yeah, that's my favourite page where it's mostly that. It's like it's split up. So in the 9, it's like 2, 4, 6 and 8 are all just the yellow with the silhouettes. Yeah.
That's really, really cool, because you see that in other books as well, but typically it'll be, you know, maybe they'll pick red or they'll pick whatever, they'll pick whatever colour, but obviously here it's very, yellow and black is what we're doing.
Yeah, and then you just have the streaks of red.
Yes. Is very, very well done with the homaging. For me, this issue was just really exciting because it was, like, the fight is brutal. Like, Batman's getting the pulp beat absolutely out of him.
As it should be, because he's Batman, and this is, like, the most dangerous speedster to ever live.
Yeah. And honestly,
you know, he's not going to pull any punches on Batman.
My favourite line of the comic might be, "I don't need to win, I just need to last 11 seconds."
Yeah.
That is such a good line.
I don't know, the bit I also like, again, it plays into the hockey bit at the start, is where it gets to the end of the countdown, and he goes, overtime.
He's like, "Damn it, Barry. Why are you late again? You're always late."
I should have known.
Barry, I'm dying here. But super fight, super brilliant. Obviously, Batman does outsmart him a little bit because he does the whole stab in the foot thing, which I like. But I do like how violent and bloody this fight is. Like it really is. Just I never knew I wanted this,
especially coming off of Bane, right? Which was brutal and punishing, but not like. That's like a heavyweight boxing match, right? Where they're just beating the mess out of each other, but there's a form to it. This was like a street fight where you're literally fighting for your life. You know,
there was I think it's because they were a bit more even in Batman and Bane, even though you know it was kind of similar levels.
He's still a human being. I mean, sure, some venom, all right, but he's still a human being. It's still a human.
Styles make fights. Batman can handle Bane. Like you can suspend your disbelief there. But when he's fighting a speedster like this, it is going to be elbows and teeth and claws and
And he knows he can't win. He's just taking the
Yeah.
blows and just going, I just need to last out. I just need to
Yeah.
hold on.
Yeah.
Yep.
And also, the other thing that connects it nicely to Watchmen in terms of the whole theme is the whole countdown, 1 minute to midnight. That the whole thing in Watchmen where it's constantly this countdown to this doomsday event. So, again, not actual doomsday, just to be clear.
Yeah.
But, so, this whole countdown, the entire issue, it just feels very in line with that kind of thinking. So even if we don't get a whole lot of, not answers, but if we don't get a whole lot of advancement on the Manhattan plot, at the very least, it feels like a big part of the story, and they're really right from the first page. It feels like an epic thing is happening. It doesn't feel like right away. It feels like we're in a big story, and that's really impressive.
It's weirdly character driven on this one.
Yeah,
because it's just Batman and Thawne in there. I mean, very little story happens here. Again, it's a minute-long fight told over 20 pages.
Which I'm okay with. Some people really hate decompressed storytelling. If it's told well, I am all for it.
I can be for or against depending on context, but here, because it's from Batman's point of view of lasting out this minute and how desperate it is, I think taking the time for that works for this particular comic.
Yeah, so let's talk about how it ends. So, Reverse Flash picks up the button, he disappears, then he comes back, and he's disintegrating as he comes back, and he's like, I saw God. And then he's seemingly lying there dead. Now, obviously, he's not dead for good. I think he's back by the end of this crossover, quite frankly.
He's half burned, Pete, though. It's pretty bad.
It is, but Speed Force, bro.
I don't have to explain. I know.
Speed Force, bro. But it's very reminiscent of someone being disintegrated by Manhattan.
And obviously it was a very blue flame.
Yeah, very blue flame. So, but no, just the idea that now they have to take it kind of seriously. Like they see there's something really going on. Barry said there's some force out there that's altered things. Superman's kind of experienced evidence of it, but now it's no, something just killed him. Who killed him and why?
It's always the main difference with Batman and some of the other heroes. Batman's very proactive, right? He's the detective. So, in Superman and Flash, they're very reactive. So they're the kind of guys that are like, well, this is weird, but until something else happens, I'm going to hold off. Where Batman's like, no, that was weird. I need to find out why. And so I think this is the best way to start to unravel this story that has been set up with Reborn and in Flash and even in Titans to a lesser extent.
Yeah. It was a hell of an intro. It's fascinating to me, what are we going to do in 3 issues? That's the only thing I was I wish this was 8 issues long, because it feels like it's setting up this big epic thing. But I trust there's a plan.
There's also a little bits like Bruce seeing his Flashpoint father.
Oh, of course, yeah. When the button sparks with the mask, he sees Thomas Wayne Flashpoint Batman for just a couple of seconds, and he fades away.
Yeah,
well,
but there's interaction
Thawne,
as well.
Yeah, well, and Thawne tearing up the letter.
Oh
yeah, so that still exists around, and I think did we see it in the Rebirth one shot?
We did, yeah. It was in the
case
or whatever.
It's just nice it's bringing it back up again.
Yeah. So no, I thought it was a really solid issue. It was very, very tense. You felt the countdown of this fight and Batman fighting for his life. The emotion was there the whole time. The ominous opening with allegedly Sartan Girl, really sets the tone for this being a big deal, and this could be the start of things. And maybe this is why the Legion's so messed up, because timeline got screwed with, so then the future never happens the way it was meant to, and therefore the Legion never technically exists, or never exists the way it was supposed to, and all this kind of stuff. And so, yeah, really
I think it is interesting to see that in this particular story, though, because it's we knew it was somewhat connected, but to have it in the button, I think, is interesting.
Yeah, because
it's specific to now rather than just general Rebirth. It kind of adds the weight that this isn't just Bruce and Flash. It's not just the two of them. This has got larger ramifications.
Yeah. And so we've had Saturn Girl here. We know we're getting, in some capacity, Jay Garrick by the end of this.
Yep.
So No.
Also, I was just looking at the final page, which is where the credits page is in this issue. Obviously, we mentioned it wasn't on the front page. Johns isn't credited directly, but it does say special thanks to Jeff Johns and Joshua Williamson.
Right. Okay.
So I'm sure they act like a brain trust where they go, okay,
Yeah.
where do we have to be?
Oh yeah, I'm
at the
sure.
end
I'm
of
sure
this?
Tom King will be thanked in the Flash issue
Yeah,
next week.
yeah.
Similar. Yeah. So.
Which I'm excited to see what happens next from Williamson with the Flash stuff.
Definitely.
Art was obviously great here. We mentioned obviously the layouts and all that stuff, but the art itself, obviously, Fabric's a very good artist. So
Yeah, you can never complain when he's on top form because it just looks great.
yeah. So no, really solid start to this crossover. Really pumped for the next one now. So.